All right, let's see. Hey to everybody that's coming into the chat. How y'all doing? Hello to Jay, Aimless, DV3 Art. Hey, Marvelous. What's going on, Tasha Lynn, Jans, King Ty, Corrine, Gwendolyn, Covered Girl. I hope y'all are doing well out there. Um, so as you can see from the title, we're tapping in to see what's really going on in the world right now. I'm going to be doing a reading on the powers that were. Now, my curiosity is sparked. Y'all know I'm always tapping in. Every once in a while, we'll tap in and see what the powers that were up to, and we haven't done that in a minute. Now, there's a lot that's going on right now, right? You turn on anything on social media, because I don't personally watch the news, but social media is the news nowadays, okay? Because the news is never bringing you the real news, okay? It's always some watered down stuff to protect a lot of people. So I get a lot of my news from those, everyday people just like me who are also curious to know what's behind the veil, okay? What's going on, y'all? So we're going to be tapping in to see what's going on because, as you all know, with all of this light that's being shined on the industry, there are also a lot of things that's being hidden. Okay, y'all know that everything is not being exposed because they're going to have the pawns. Okay, there are the certain people in the industry that are the tokens, right? They're easily disposable, and that's what they was created for, to be the face of destruction, so that those beings who sit on a higher throne in the underworld, they get to kind of take a back seat and watch it all unfold, and just keep their fingers crossed that they don't get revealed too, right? So there's a lot more to what's happening than what meets the eye. So we're going to tap in with our spiritual eyes today to see what's really going on behind the scenes and what is the objective of the powers that were right now. So let's just jump in, y'all. Let's see. It looks much clearer today. Yeah, I made some adjustments to the camera. I told y'all I've been over here learning this technology. So I'm getting it. We're getting there, y'all. So I appreciate all of you who have stuck it out with me. As I learn and develop with this technology. So Jay says, yes, this is World War III. That will happen. Okay. Marvelous says, I'm not on social media or watch the news, and I control my YouTube feed. I'm out of the loop of what's going on. Well, I mean, that is a pretty decent place to be, because I have to tell y'all, I'm pretty tapped in, right? Because I'm very curious to know what's happening, what's being exposed, who's being exposed, because I've been waiting for this. So it is an up and down energy for me personally, because I feel that energy of celebration, like, yes, they're finally exposing this person. Yes, it's finally coming out over here. But then there's also this undertone of disappointment, because I know it's so much bigger. I know it's so much bigger. I know it's a whole lot more so-called political figures, even religious figures, princes. I mean, it's so much bigger. Governmental agencies and all types of stuff. Like, it's so much bigger than what we're receiving right now. So that's why I want to dig in and see what's really going on behind the curtain here. So let's tap in. Now, y'all know I will be using code words, okay? So if you know, you know. So what is really going on behind the veil here? Okay, this is a lot. Oh no, that's too many cards, y'all. But this card fell out, declare and decree. We have been doing a lot of declaring and decreeing. Let's just see. Fight back in numbers and using religion to regain control. Interesting. So we have fight back in numbers and using religion to regain control. So this could definitely turn into like this war. If you all noticed, I didn't watch the interview, but there was a lot of headlines surrounding this whole thing where it's a pastor. I don't know this pastor personally, but apparently he's a big pastor. Supposedly interviewed Ray J, and now there's this clashing between the two of them. So now you got pastors interviewing entertainers, but they're trying to find a way to get people's attention redirected back to religion. Okay. So keep that in mind. Using religion to regain control, though, not to get you back so called in alignment spiritually, as they might put it, but no, this is to regain control over the masses. Because what's happening, if you pay attention to what they're saying about a lot of these so-called celebrities that's being exposed, is coming out that they've been doing a lot of rituals. A lot of these um the X trafficking, right? They won't even let you say certain words on social media. So the X trafficking, y'all know what I'm talking about. And these parties, these orgy parties that they've been putting together, they're saying that a lot of this has to do with rituals, okay? Outright rituals. And I know this for a fact, right? We've been talking about this for a long time, but it's being exposed openly where it has a lot to do with satanic rituals and, you know, conjuring up spell work and things like that in order to enhance their power. Now, they're trying to use this as a way to also deter those of you who have awakened here in the age of Aquarius from still staying connected on a spiritual level. Okay. They want to throw it in your face in a way to make you think that all alchemy is bad, right? All alchemy is bad. All rituals are bad. Working with, you know, candles and things like that is bad. That's what they want you to believe to try to push you back into religion. Okay. Keep that in mind, but it's all in an attempt to regain control. So let's see what else is coming out. So I have here, wow, there's a lot of money on the line. It says trillions on the line. Trillions of dollars is on the line here. I just heard something, y'all. So even when we talk about the biblical text, right? Y'all know how I feel about the biblical text. But there's one particular part in there that a lot of people overlook, right? And it talks about the selling of different merchandise. It talks about the selling of silk, selling gold, jewelry, selling wheat, flour. And then you get further down and it talks about the selling of souls, right? It said that the merchants would no longer buy from them. That's the specific verse. Let me see if I can find it real quick so y'all can hear this. So when it says losing trillions, trillions of dollars on the line, what I heard was that they're losing this because the whole agenda of the X trafficking and the selling of souls and the human sacrifices and all of these different things that was taking place in secret. Now things are being exposed. And so there's a lot of people who used to be fully involved and fully submerged that don't want to get their hands dirty right about now because they're afraid that they might be exposed. So trillions are on the line here. Let's just see. My phone says 111 as I'm looking at it right now. So there's some significance to what I'm picking up here. Let me see if I can find that particular passage. If any of you know which one that is, leave it in the comments so I can pull it up faster if you know which passage that is, okay? Shoot. All right. So, god darn it. I'm going to find it, y'all. I'm going to find it. Let me see. Does anybody know where it's at? Is it Revelations? You said somewhere Revelations 13, verse 18. I spoke about this a long time ago, and I was reading it verbatim from the biblical text. And ugh, okay, so okay, let me see. This is saying Revelations 18, 11 through 13. I believe this is exactly what it is. And this is interesting because I have been doing this decoding of Revelations lately. And I've been doing some research from behind the scenes where I'm going to revisit, but obviously it's meant for me to do a little bit more decoding here in this message today. This part right here stands out. This is Revelations 18. Now I'm reading from the King James 16:11 version, y'all. 10, 5, 15, 16, 17, 18. Revelations 18, 14 through 15. Let's see, where is it? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start at verse 12. Revelations chapter 15, verse 12. It says, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and the souls of men. That's the very last part there. So what they're talking about, if we go up, is pretty much saying that, and after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was light with his glory. Let me see, I'm trying to get to what they was. Okay, therefore shall her plagues come one day, death and mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. Says the Lord God who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her, lament for her, and we shall see the smoke of the burning. So it's pretty much saying that Babylon is getting ready to have its judgment, and that the merchants would no longer buy from them. Okay. But why we're talking about, you understand, talking about buying silk and flour and wheat and fine linen and jewels and ivory. You can understand that, right? The exchange of those goods, right? But when you get to the bottom and it's talking about slaves, okay, we are very familiar with the enslavement of man, that people have purchased man and called them their slave, right? We're familiar with that. But how many of you know that literally at the end of this text, it includes and the souls of men? So the soul of a man is included with the buying and selling of goods. Okay, the exchange of goods from one nation to another. So that's what I picked up on here. That's what I heard when I was reading this card. Trillions are being lost, because that was vital to the empowerment and the forward movement of the powers that were, the souls of men. That was the most expensive one on there out of all of the things that they mentioned: the slaves, the horses, the chariots, everything that they mentioned. And then they went off into the souls of men. So this is far deeper than a lot of people realize. And then you have to ask, well, how can you sell or buy a soul? How is that even possible? Right? It's through a lot of the rituals that they have been doing. And like I was telling y'all, that show, oh gosh, what's the name of that doggone show? I just told y'all about this in one of my last messages. I have to leave it in the comments. Okay, so this says, wow, look at this, y'all. It says they run for cover. They run for cover. And then I have retaliation. So this could be strong retaliation amongst one another. Okay. A lot of these beings, is 333 in the chat. A lot of these beings are running for cover because they know that their time is over. Okay. Their time is over. Their time is done here in the age of Revelations. No, not the show Evil. It's a different show. But they're running for cover. So where they gonna run to? Where are you running? Y'all probably know where they're running to, though, right? You know where they're going. There's been a whole lot of exposure when it comes to the underground, the underworld. Okay, the underworld. So elections has a lot to do with this, and you all know we just got done with the elections, right? Elections has a lot to do with this. The US dollar lost its value. Okay. It was part of the plan. So we're still talking about why all of this exposure now? Why are so many people being put on the forefront as the pawn now? And this was all part of their plan. Even though if we look at it from a deeper perspective, we know that it was all part of the Most High Mother and Father's plan from the beginning to expose everybody. But from behind the scenes, these beings, they think they're playing chess, right? They think they're moving in a way that's going to protect the so-called higher ups in the underworld. That's what they think. So they're making it seem as if it was all part of the plan, but really it truly is a distraction because the US dollar is losing its value, which many of you have known this for quite some time now. But it says trillions of dollars is on the line. Trillions. They run for cover. Let me see. Why are they running? Why are they running? Wow, look at this. It says major celebrity sacrifice soon. Major celebrity sacrifice. Oh, that's who's running for cover. A lot of the so-called celebrities and entertainers are running for cover. So they know that it's getting ready to be some big sacrifices out here. Okay. So they know somebody got to be put on the chopping block. Multiple people are going to have to be put on the chopping block. So this is who's running for cover. There has to be some sacrifices that's going to be made here. And they don't really know who exactly is going to be, because we already see that the diddler is, right. You know, he's one of the first sacrifices, but there are many more, right? Because now the world is curious about, okay, well, what are these tapes? Who are these people that's supposedly in these tapes? Now there's speculation, which you all know, this judicial system, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I don't trust them. So when they call themselves bringing judgment down and investigating certain things, you know that there's something more to it, right? So when they say that the people raided, okay, the so-called whoever you want to call them, right? They raided his house and they confiscated the tapes and all of these other things, right? A lot of people are saying they did that because they wanted to tamper with the evidence so that particular figures would not be exposed. And I believe that to be 1000% true. So they know, okay, there's a lot of so-called celebrities that are running for cover because they understand that the people who are above them in the underworld will not allow themselves to be sacrificed first. They will not allow themselves to just go out like that. So they're going to cover their own tracks, and the pawns will become this circle, okay? The little people in the underworld that most people consider them to be big, but they're really not. This says they lose the battle or war. Now, this could be spiritual war. This could be definitely a physical one. There's a loss here that's happening concerning war. This is getting kind of deep here. Okay. Now, this says Doc is lying. Doc is lying. I can't say certain things because these fools, but Doc, y'all know who we call Doc. Doc is lying. So this is also moving into a different part of the industry where certain things are coming out here. They plan to fight extraterrestrials. Oh, sucky now. They plan to fight some extraterrestrials. What do y'all think about that? They plan to fight some extraterrestrials. Do we have some extraterrestrials that are getting ready to return to planet Earth to shake some things up? Do they know some things that we don't know about? One thing that I keep getting you know how you get recommendations on YouTube? I keep seeing that they're having these political conferences about extraterrestrial sightings. And every time they ask them a direct question, they'll respond with, I can't answer that directly. We have to talk about that in private. I can't give you the direct information about XYZ. And I'm just like, well, what the hell is the point of the conference if you can't answer not one question directly without having to go behind the scenes to talk about it? Now, Galactic War. Okay. They're already here. Okay. So Suan said they're already here, our ancestors. Okay. Well, consider if we're talking about NASA directly, when we recently had the solar eclipse, did they not send the what do you call the rocket ships up? Right? What the hell was they doing? Did they say directly what they was doing? All I know is that they named them a pep, right? Which is a demon. It's a demon god. They named those rocket ships a pep. So what was they doing? But it's saying that they are getting ready. They plan to fight extraterrestrials. There, a lot of people are running for cover. Trillions of dollars is being lost here. Particular celebrities are being put on a chopping block. They're going to be the sacrifice very, very soon. A lot of this is directly connected to the recent elections. Okay. Let's see what else is going on here. Let me see. Overthrow authority. Now, this is what I'm using this to clarify. They plan to fight extraterrestrials. Overthrow authority. So who's really the authority here then? Are we saying that the extraterrestrials are going to overthrow the authority of the so-called powers that were that's in place right now? Or is this saying that the powers that were is trying to overthrow the authority of the extraterrestrials? It's getting ready to go down in ways I feel like it's bigger than what we even understand right now. Because I just feel like it's too many distractions. Like it's hard not to pay attention to the unveiling of how things are unraveling right now, right? Like they're putting it out there for the masses in ways where it's like you can't avoid it really unless you just turn everything off. So, what the heck is going on behind the scenes here is really the question. What is happening behind the scenes? It looks like they just said, look, they're ready to take flight. They're ready to run because this is bigger than what it did say that they lose the war battle. They're going to lose. Even if they try to fight up against them, this is not a winning battle for these beings, not the powers that were. What is the distraction really all about? Oh my gosh. Okay. Of course they are. We already knew this. It says spying through devices. Spying through devices. We already know that. A lot of times for me personally, I unplug the TVs in the house, when they're not on. I know it's best to turn the phone completely off, any devices is best to turn it all the way off, but there is some spying through devices that's happening right here. This says targeting children. We already know that. We already know that because it's coming out that a lot of the trafficking was directly correlated with children, lots of missing children. What was that storm that happened out in Hawaii? I think it was the same part of Hawaii that was mentioned in the movie Moana. If that's in Hawaii, anybody know where that was located? If you recall, there were lots of children that came up missing when that storm took place. I mean, a lot of children. Was it a fire? What? Okay, it was a fire. My bad. Okay, it was a fire. When that happened, Maui, okay, a lot of children came up missing. And guess who was right there in the midst of it all? Anybody can guess? There you go. Mr. Ellipsis says the one The Rock and Oprah was trying to get money for, right? Because I believe, and this is only speculation, let me just put that out there. She did purchase an island out there, right? A lot of land. And so a lot of children came up missing, and a lot of the parents was like, where are these children at? Where are our children? You know, they was really infuriated, like, where are our children at? That's only one piece. That's only one piece. Look at this. This says distraction. Again, a lot of what they're doing right now is definitely a distraction because there's something much bigger. Can you imagine that what's happening right now is already eye-opening, right? For those of you who are awakened, it's not a surprise at all, but it's still like, damn, wow, you know, just to hear it unfold in a natural realm, in the physical realm, is still like a wow factor. But can you imagine if that's the distraction? How big is it really? How big of an atrocity is it really behind the scenes if what's going on right now is simply a small little distraction to deter you from the bigger thing that's really going on here? Miller said the powers that were are trying to trying to throw the true overseers. Okay. Miss Shavi, this is becoming aware on many fronts if you're awakened. All spiritual sides getting the message. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely becoming very apparent. We can't ignore it anymore. Look, this says they have no plan. They don't even have a plan at this point. And that's why I was getting this message a lot of times whenever I would tap into the powers that were in the past. It kept showing that their trick bag was empty. So they have literally they've run out of cards to play. Okay. They don't know what else to do. So I'm not going to say it's the scary part, but you know, when a person runs out of tricks, that's when they start to panic, right? And when you're talking about psychopaths, when you got a psychopath, a group of psychopaths that begin to panic, you don't know how they might respond because they don't know what else to do. So now they're clashing up against each other. There's no more real collaboration, right? Because they don't have anything else to bargain with, right? So if you're talking about different nations getting in bed with each other, somebody up there mentioned the BRICS. Somebody up there mentioned BRICS, right? You're talking about different nations of people getting in bed with each other, but they had something that the other person wanted, right? So it was all in an exchange for goods. Everybody was benefiting in their own way. But now that the everything is coming to light and humanity is no longer falling for the okie doke, okay? The veil has been removed. You got a lot of people scrambling. And so behind the scenes, they're fighting with each other. That's why you see a whole lot of WARs that's taking place out here, because they're no longer getting in bed with each other. It ain't good no more, right? So let me see. What else do we need to know about what's happening behind the scenes? Those things that we don't see openly. Damn. Y'all see what that says? Ugh. Some of y'all are like, okay, you've been ahead of the game when it comes to that. You got yours right there on your hip. But if you don't have it on your hip, it's pretty much saying to get prepared. There are some changes that's going to be taking place, and folks are not ready to accept that. It says communicate in code. See, even my spiritual team is telling me, like, yeah, don't say that out loud. Communicate in code. Even when it comes to when we're talking about these beings monitoring on devices, right? Even when it talks about them monitoring on devices, we got to have a new way of communicating. Straight codes. It doesn't mean that they don't know what you're saying, but they most certainly can incriminate you for saying something. Even if they're able to read into the code, they still can't say, well, you said it directly. So what they gonna do? So we have to talk in codes here, communicate in codes. So this says here 911. How many people out there have been seeing 911? I certainly have been seeing 911. Okay. I'd say about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I was seeing it a lot. How many people out there have been seeing 911 at least within the past month or so? Um, it is a sense of urgency that a lot of these beings are dealing with behind the scenes. Okay. Yeah. Some of you have been seeing it. I see that. So look at this. It says pandemic. I was clarifying 911. It says pandemic. Pandemic. So the last pandemic, it didn't really work out the way that they was hoping that it would. Okay. Some people fell for it out of fear. When it comes to their livelihood, they went and, did some things that they probably didn't want to do. Most people didn't trust it. Now you got to consider when these people put out statistics, when they throw numbers at you, they might say, oh, well, yeah, 95% of America went ahead and took the advice and got the job. It's supposed to be an A in the middle of that, right? 95% went and got the job. Nope. That's the numbers they put out there to trick you into thinking that most people actually have faith in what they're telling you to do. Okay. But most people didn't get the job. Most people, at least the ones that they was hoping would get the job, did not get the job. So this says rituals performed on the full moon. And I can believe that, because I will say that, and of course they do. They perform a lot. They've been performing rituals on the full moon for a very long time. And this is why, to counter that, the chosen, you have been doing your rituals out there on the full moon. So in the past, it was just them conjuring up their demons, putting their intentions out there. But now, since I've awakened, I speak directly to the moon. And I say, when that full moon is out, I give thanks that it'll completely reject any low vibrational demonic energy. I give thanks to the energy for rejecting it off the break, right? But consider that a lot of their rituals are being performed on the full moon. So if you've been feeling a heightened energy around the full moons, it's because they're behind the scenes trying to conjure up whatever they can to offset the changes that's happening for their empire, okay? Let me see if I can gauge anything about these rituals performed on the full moon. Wow. Wow. This says they hide underground. They hide underground. So a lot of these rituals that's being performed on the full moon is happening with the underworld, okay? The people that live that's the literal underworld, right? The underground cities that have been there, they've been under our feet for hundreds of years, I'm sure, maybe longer, okay? You said it, Marv Alice, you said it. The tunnels, okay? This is where they're hiding. But consider, I said that earlier when I said they run for cover, and I was like, do y'all know where they running for cover? When that card came out, it says they run for cover. That's where they running, because who's really going to find you there? But see, what they need to realize is that all Mother Earth got to do is just reject them, and every last one of them will be buried right there where they stand. You want to be underground, you're going to stay there, be beyond 6 feet, right? If that's where you want to be, you stay right there, so that when Mother Earth does her thing, okay, that's exactly where you're going to be at. Because this is what they've been up to, okay? Those rituals that they're doing it underground. And this is why I'm telling y'all, as far as where it says they're targeting children, a lot of those rituals was being done using the innocence of children, okay? Stripping the innocence from children to conjure up a lot of their spell work. It's so dark and it's so sinister, but a lot of people don't want to believe it because they stay only looking through their natural eyes. This is far deeper, okay? So this says stock up on supplies. They could try because again, we saw pandemic come out, right? So that could be their last little attempt to see what they can do to get the world in a chaotic state. That way everybody will start crying to them, with that Stockholm syndrome, save us, please. That's what they're trying to develop in you, Stockholm syndrome. You go running to the one that's actually doing all the crime in hopes that they will save you from them, right? So they create these different scenarios to get you in this mode of fear. That's why taking a spiritual path is so important, because you understand that's one of the first things that you have to free yourself from is fear, because fear is crippling and it'll block that root chakra. So look at this, y'all. This says new. I'm not even going to say it out loud, because believe it or not, I've had YouTube actually tag me for saying this specific word, these 3 words, NWO. Okay. This is what it's all about. They're trying to reestablish themselves right now. They're trying to reestablish themselves right now. But they already lost the battle here. Look at this. It says neighborhood. What's going on in the neighborhood? Considering that when they raided the Diddler's house, it said that they found tunnels, right? Did they not say that? Or let me just say allegedly, if it hasn't been put out there directly. Did they not say that they found tunnels that led directly to, I believe they mentioned Hugh Hefner's house and a few other people's homes? Why? Why would you have that? Because, okay, if you're wealthy, if you want to go and do some sinister things and you don't want to be found out, it's so much easier to just go underground, because nobody ever sees you leave your house. Nobody ever sees you knock on that person's door and pull your car up in the driveway. You would never get found out, right? It's so much easier to create a world underground where you can commit your acts of crime and do your rituals and do your ex trafficking and all of these different things, unaliving, human sacrifices, and all of these different things, because nobody would ever see you. They would never be able to trace you, right? Collapse. They know it's coming down, though, right? This is showing clearly it's coming down. The collapse is happening. What's triggering this collapse? And what's interesting is that you got a whole lot of people with their cell phones out down here at the bottom, watching this collapse happen. So this is something that cannot be ignored or avoided. What's triggering this collapse? So I have imprisonment, okay? Imprisonment. And then I have frozen. So something is being put to rest. Something is being frozen in place where there's no more forward movement. If you're imprisoned, you can't move around and do particular things. When things are frozen, there is no movement here. So this collapse is happening because something is not moving for these people, these beings. Wow. Look at this. Okay. I'm not going to say that out loud, but y'all can read that. And as you can see, it's a depiction. It's a doll. But what do dolls, generally a doll would represent the energy of what? Children. Okay. It's not moving anymore because all eyes on them. They can't keep the what do you call it? Like the agenda going. If this is what was moving them, if this is where they got all of their money, all of their wealth, if this was their trade, if this was their trade-off, connected to children directly and ex-trafficking, is now collapsing because all eyes are on them. Okay. So nobody wants to sell or buy their merchandise anymore. The trade-off is done. This says marriage or wedding. That's exactly what I was talking about when I was saying these different nations getting in bed with each other. Okay. There's a collapse that's happening with these contracts, these agreements and these contracts that they took on with one another. It's coming down. All right. I just saw the card of poison and drugs. Wow. I wouldn't be surprised. This says body double. Body double. Okay. Many of you have heard about that. That was an interesting movie. It was kind of boring, but that movie about cloning Tyrone. I told you they speak in codes through a lot of their movies though. But it's very easy. If y'all watch like even Will Smith, he literally has an actual clone. I think the guy is I don't know if he's from Mexico. I'm not exactly sure where he's from, but looks just like him. Okay. I've seen it on his Instagram. The guy looks just like him. He didn't have to have plastic surgery or anything. You walk up on him, you would swear it was him until he opened up his mouth. Okay. So a lot of them, they're trying to flee, right? And I'm not saying this directly about Will Smith, but they're trying to flee. But some of them will utilize those so-called body doubles, those so-called clones, and they trying to go somewhere underground. They trying to hide underground, a real person, right? Yeah, him and Martin had one. They sure did. Looked exactly like both of them. I mean, spitting. It's crazy how similar they looked. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Asarte. They have known about the diddler for a long time. They've known about everybody that's been involved in this, not just him. That's the problem. He is the celebrity sacrifice, though. He's the one that's on the chopping block. But there's many more that's getting ready to be used as the forefront because they have to account for all of the other wealthy people that they say are on the tapes. So they're definitely going to put the celebrities up front as the pawns. But trust and believe, most of those wealthy people that would be on the tapes, you don't even know their name, but they got way more money than the diddler. They got way more so-called power in the underworld than the diddler. Okay. Most of the people. And that's allegedly. But y'all know what it is. So this says social media. Let's see, what are they talking about concerning social media? Okay, so it says egotism. Okay. Some people want to try to act like they're not worried. That's what I'm picking up. They're using social media to come off unfazed. And we see right through that. They can try to act like they ain't worried about it. They can try to act like they don't hear their name being whispered in the corners and people mentioning them when it comes to particular sightings and parties and things like that. They can act like it. But that's not going to take away from the fact that, hey, the truth is being exposed, whether they like it or not. Why? Because we listen to our intuition. Hello, the truth is being exposed on a spiritual level. Okay, y'all see she's reading cards and it says intuition. You can see right through it. You can see the fear in their eyes. They can laugh it up and talk about, oh, I left early. Yeah, I went to the party, but I left early. I had to go to bed by 12 o'clock. Okay. You can look in their eyes and see that they shaking. Okay. About ready to urinate on themselves, hoping that the world will believe them. You ain't leave early. Look at this. You didn't leave early. Do you see what that says? Perversion, boner zone, right? You left early. No, you didn't leave early because you was all up in the mix, all up in the perversion, all up in the zone. Okay. This is why it says listen to your intuition, because people lie, energy does not. That much is 100% facts. This says strangulation. And those are, looks like roses. This is a whole nother type of perversion, okay? Whole nother, on a different type of level. Was probably doing all types of stuff where people was, listen. If you know, you know. Let's just put it that way. It shouldn't be nobody under 18 in this chat anyway. But if you know, you know. All types of stuff was going on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. TB Jakes, TB Jaker. Yeah, of course. But honestly, again, if you know, you know. I personally have watched TB Jaker. And I always saw a very, the wrist was just a little slack. It was a little slack. It was hanging, a little loose, in my opinion. So I'm really not surprised. But a lot of those, the Bible thumpers out there are very much so like, not my pastor, right? A lot of people couldn't accept it. But what the heck was he doing rubbing shoulders at the parties? Why was you there? Right? So you got to really ask those questions. A lot of people that end up in these higher ranking positions, they don't get there without having to do some nefarious things behind the scenes. And considering that if he was a gatekeeper of the so-called Christian community, then he's exactly where he belongs. Because y'all already know how I see it when it comes to this, church and things like that. So fire is here. Utter destruction is happening right now. Yeah, this is getting ugly. So I have here witness at the bottom of the deck, and I also have dismemberment. Somebody is eyewitness. This is the thing. The issue that these people had is that they couldn't keep it. Let me see how I can put it. They couldn't keep the group small where they could kind of control the environment. They had so many people that was a part of these groups that how can you not have at least a handful of people? If you got hundreds of people at a party, you're going to have a handful of people who are witnesses to this. Not necessarily participants, but witnesses behind the scenes, watching, taking it all in, taking notes so that when the time is right, they can expose. And this is where you get people like, the Jaguars. Even though at one point, from what I understand, allegedly she was a participant, but there came a time where she started to see like this is getting a little bit too out of hand, is what I'm picking up from watching her specifically. But she's just one example of witnesses that was there to see things that go even beyond what they're talking about directly. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. The energy influencer. Thank you. Even beyond that, okay? Where we're talking about this boner zone. This boner zone brought in some things that was far deeper, okay? It was far deeper than just some, group stuff, some bisexual stuff. It went deeper than that. Like I'm talking about, they even went as far as saying that there was bestiality going on, okay? Strangulation thing. I mean, it's not good. Oh, did he say what did this guy here say? He said, what was his famous line, y'all? What's his famous line? I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Okay. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. So, like I was saying in the beginning, we have a lot more people that's involved in this than so-called celebrities. It goes way deeper. It goes way deeper. Okay. Look at this. What did I just say? It goes way deeper. This says, what does that say? Y'all can read. You see it. All of these people, and I'm pretty sure, allegedly, involved in the acts behind the scenes. And that's why they had to grab a hold of that stuff real fast. Okay. They didn't waste no time. And it's like, well, dang, it's people that get taken out every single day. I looked at a list of the homicides that have taken place right here in Illinois, where I'm located. And when I tell you it, I would have to say about 99% of them were unsolved. How is that possible? All of these cases unsolved? Is it just because you just don't want to solve them? Clearly, that's what it is, because you got cameras everywhere. Everything, most of them were unsolved. But as soon as we have the diddler who has been videotaping all of this for a very long time, and the truth starts to come forward, oh, they jump on that so fast. It was kind of crazy how fast they jumped on that. Went through armored up and everything. Morpheus, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, I know that, Cynthia, for sure. That's a well-known thing. And I will go as far as to say, and this is not a far stretch at all, because I need to look up this particular story. They might not have it in the headlines like that, but this is allegedly. I heard that the so-called Queen Elizabeth, there was a young boy that was running from the palace naked, screaming. Did y'all hear about that? For those of you who are out in the UK, because I got a lot of people in the UK that watch my channel, is that in the headlines? This is allegedly, but I heard about this. Did anybody else hear about that? Some of y'all are saying that's true. You heard about it. Okay. Let me see if I can find it, if it's actually in the headlines. Yeah, years ago. And they said he fell and actually ended up transitioning from falling. So he jumped out of did he jump out of there? Oh, the story just disappeared. That's interesting. Yeah, there's nothing showing up here. But you see, that's how the so-called news works. They are definitely very, very particular about the types of things that they allow the world to see and know. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the stories disappear. Let me just see if anything shows up here. So this is a video. I'm just going to read it. It says fact checked. So obviously they're doing a fact check in this article. It says video purporting to show naked man escaping the Buckingham Palace through a window is a promo clip for a television series. Now they're saying it was a television series, y'all. But this is what I'm talking about. One thing that you cannot discern when it comes to the media, you don't know what's real and what's fake anymore unless you're looking at this thing through your spiritual eyes. Because how many movies have you seen where they have literally had news anchors reporting a disaster in the movie, a real news anchor that you watch every day on Channel 7 or Channel 2 or Channel 5 in a movie reporting a crime, or a judge, a real life judge in the movie handing down a sentence, or it happens all the time. So then the question, they do it like this so that you get to that place where eventually you can't discern what's real and what's fake. That's the whole objective. So when they say, Oh, that young man that fell from the palace, you know, and that was naked. Oh, they was just filming a movie. Now you just don't know, right? Because if it was real, they would never say it was real. I say that to say I'm pretty sure I will. Speculation. Those tunnels run that far. Okay? They run that far. It says power supply. Trapped. Mm. You know, I feel like with the power supply, I feel like it's alluding to what we was just talking about as far as the media, what they will allow to be shown in the media, okay? Because Trapped came out right behind that. Trapped. And we were literally just talking. Thank you for the super chat, Krabby Lion. We was literally just talking about those people who are likely underground, okay? These are the types of things that if somebody escapes, either that person won't live to tell about it, or they'll try to make that person out to be crazy, or they will completely hoodwink you and tell you you didn't see what you saw. Secret trip. It's a lot of those that's happening. Secret trips. A lot of this that's going on here, right? Let's see, what are these secret trips all about? Because it looks like they're headed towards those who are trapped. Those who are trapped, right? Because a problem, the issue with the wealth that's been gained by the powers that were is that these beings, they get all of this fiat, and they understand that the price of life is very cheap, right? Most of the world, they push us all into poverty. That way, when one of them propositions you and says, hey, I'll give you 20 grand, which when you really look at it, 20 grand is nothing. But they'll say, I give you 20 grand to somebody that's struggling. 20 grand is their lifeline. And if you don't have any spiritual rooting, if you have no integrity, no moral compass, you will jump for that 20 grand quick, fast, and in a hurry. And they can get a person to do a whole lot. Hell, 10 grand, 5 grand. You run up on the right person, okay? And so they get all of this money, and rather than doing good things with it to help uplift humanity and to help, you know, bring communities out of poverty and things like that, they out here saying, oh, I got enough money to buy a soul. I ain't worried about buying the chariot. You can keep the silks, or what they was talking about here in Revelations, which was written by the powers that were. Okay, King James was wicked as hell. Okay, Willie Lynch said it in his letter that he honored King James. Okay, matter of fact, yeah, y'all have to go back and watch that. Go back and watch that message that I brought forward about Willie Lynch. But they honor King James. But as I was saying, they have all of this money, so they ain't worried about buying chariots, which is cars and silk. They got all of that. So now it gets down to the point where I can have whatever I want. Okay, let me get a soul or two, or 3 or 4 or 5, right? This says jealousy. You know what? That's what I want to look at. What happened behind the scenes that kicked all of this off? Was there some sort of battle between people behind? Let me see. I want to see real quick. What kicked all of this off? Who triggered this? Because I know they try to say, well, it all began when Cassie came out and started saying things, but I feel like this is deeper. This is far deeper. What triggered all of this social media frenzy? What triggered all of this? We see that it is a distraction, but I want to know what happened behind the scenes here. So this says accident. Let me clarify. False flag. Struggle. there was some sort of accident, but it was a false flag. In other words, it was not, it could have been a literal crash where there was some sort of fatality on a plane here, but it was a false flag. They called it, it was a false call, okay? It didn't really happen that way. It's actually concerning a struggle, a power struggle here. This says yes. So that's confirmation. Yes. Now this false flag is next to water here. This yes is next to water. Damn. Is anybody else out there picking up on the you said the flight in Malay? There you go. I was thinking Aaliyah too. Was somebody getting ready to spill the beans here? Now Cynthia is saying JE. You said JFK crashed into the water. Look, this says kid. Okay, y'all can read that. So whoever was connected, now they did say, let me keep pulling. Let me see, what is this all about? Because something happened behind the scenes that triggered all of this. It's connected to an accident, but it wasn't really an accident. It was a false call where they said it was an accident. There was really a struggle, a power struggle between some people here. Okay. Somebody was taken against their will. This says fraud. Wow. Okay. Thumbs up. Good. Somebody, it was fake, because this is monopoly money. It was fake money, or not, maybe not fake money. It is monopoly money. It was a struggle surrounding some sort of fraud that happened behind the scenes here. Look at this. This says accomplice. Somebody made some sort of agreement or pact here, okay? It says accomplice, partner in crime. So they agreed to do something here. But it ended up being a struggle, I feel like, between these two people that made this agreement. This says deep state. I don't know. Let me see. What is this accomplice? What is this accomplice all about? Outside. Mind control. Somebody did this for more power, okay? They made an agreement initially to commit some sort of fraud, and they was good on it, okay? They was like, thumbs up, we good, okay, we on the same page here. But eventually there ended up being a struggle. What is the struggle all about? Damn. Weird science. So this might not be Aaliyah. This might be some a bigger figure, because weird science is given that energy of, okay, in the laboratory mixing up some stuff, right? But eventually it was a partnership. They was good on doing this, right? They was in agreements. They made a pact with each other to do this. And it was to create some form of power or mind control over the masses. But eventually something happened here where there was a struggle. So I don't know why. I mean, of course, the diddler was rubbing shoulders with a lot of people, though. That's the thing. He was rubbing shoulders with a lot of people, because you talking about somebody that's billionaire status. He ain't just intermingling with only, other celebrities, right? He was definitely outside of that circle, because they even had, I saw some pictures of the so-called Prince Harry at the parties, right? So this struggle, I have the trapped card here. We did have the kidnap card that came out. Thank you for the super chat. Family is everything says, "Hey sis, I love what you are doing for the chosen. I want you to know that you have helped me change my entire existence for the better. I pray we could we could collab together soon. Keep up the great work." Thank you so much. Family is everything real. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad that I can help you on your journey in some way. I appreciate it. So, see, this says secret weapons. Now, secret weapons, weird science. I will say this. Um, the whole pneumonia thing, right? A lot of people seem to be dropping off like flies from pneumonia. Completely healthy people who have access to great, um, care, they can pay for the right things to get themselves in alignment. But pneumonia has become a big issue when it comes to people just dropping off, right? Even the diddler's, uh, his child's mother, they said that she had expired from pneumonia. That's what they said. Now, apparently, whoever was behind the scenes here, they knew something about this secret weapon and this weird science. They know about this, okay? Secret weapon, weird science. I think this might be bigger than Aaliyah, y'all. This is something else right here. This is connected to another plane crash that took place. And they called it an accident, but that was a false flag. That was not the truth. It was a struggle. It was a power struggle here. Now, I didn't look. I know that there was, who was that guy from Africa that recently got into a crash? What was his position? Because, I mean, again, I don't keep up with politics and so-called political leaders and things like that. But what was his position? Does anybody know? Okay, Vicky is saying maybe it's Kobe. Yeah, it's true. Secan, yes. You're mentioning pneumonia, cancer, heart attacks. Yes. Yes. Secret weapons, weird science. Okay. Oh, you said he started a bank. He was a president. Okay. Okay. Bankers. Someone else said he was a prime minister. That happened literally on the day of the Super Bowl, right? Wasn't that on the day of the Super Bowl? Now, many of you know that the Super Bowl, because I literally just did a whole message about the Super Bowl, which is literally a big cauldron. Y'all know the witch's pot is a big cauldron. That's what the bowl would represent. And all of the people there represents the energy. The so-called fans are there to move the energy around. And so there's a lot of rituals that take place during the Super Bowl. But I believe that happened. I think he ended up crashing on the same day, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if this is connected to him, but it's obviously somebody who had a pretty big position. Okay. Wow. Y'all see what that says? A slice of pizza. This became a struggle in power. Okay. Whoever this is, they was connected. They made an agreement. This could be two different major leaders from different countries, right? This doesn't have to just be two people sitting in a room saying, "Hey, we getting ready to get." No, this is bigger than that. But there ended up being a struggle on both ends here. And somebody was getting ready to spill the beans about this false flag of an accident. Yeah, you say it was an accident, but I don't, it pretty much saying this was not what you think it was. Somebody was going to spill the beans. And they were going to say, they was going to tell more, not just about the accident, but I feel like they was also going to expose the weird science. Okay. The weird science behind the scenes, as well as those beings who are trapped and being taken, probably experimented on with this weird science. Okay. Because you best believe they're not just taking them for their perversion, they're using these people for everything. Okay. everything. Especially when you're seeing this. It's deeper. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I gotta plug up my computer here. This is far deeper. And I knew it had to be bigger than the diddler, but I really was curious to know, like, what kicked all of this off? Like, what triggered all of this stuff to come to light like this? Thank you for the super chat, Southern French. It says, thank you for all that you do for us, Shavi. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's right, Osiris Bay. Exactly what he said. Exactly what he said. So we have here reptilian. Okay, reptilian. Private property. So, of course, a lot of this was taking place in areas that most everyday people cannot enter, right? You can't go nowhere near particular areas. They probably got the whole doggone. Oh, damn, I just got to download. I was getting ready to say they got the whole city, taped off where the average person can't enter. And what I just got a visual of was, I wonder if anybody out there can tap into what I just got a visual of. I just want to see if anybody's on the same page. The city that you can't enter, right? Because it's supposed to be so holy. It's supposed to be, no, I'm talking about, it's not underground, but I'm sure they have an underground. You best believe that. But I'm gonna just see if anybody else gets it. The visual that I got. There you go. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. A lot of y'all, you see exactly. Yes. Yes. So proudly peculiar, and then Quantavia, the Vatican City. That's the download that I just got when I saw private property and this card right here. Okay. That's the download that I just got when I got private property and this card right here. I'm telling you, when you pull back the layers, there's so many so-called powerful figures in the underground that's connected to all of this, that you better believe the powers that were, they will use the pawns and put them at the forefront because they do not want these beings to be exposed. Because once they come down, the entire everything comes down, crashing with it, religion and everything else, because they're the head of the especially Christianity, right? So this is big. Let me just see. Is there anything else that I'm missing here? Anything else that we need to know concerning the powers that were? So this says no. Let me see. No to what? No to what? Okay, I got 2 cards. I have timeline issues. Wow. Then I have aliens. Timeline issues and aliens. They're running out of time. The answer is no, they don't have enough time. They have no more time. Now the aliens comes out again, and earlier the card that I got that was alluding to aliens, it said, what did that say? I got to find the card now. It was definitely alluding to a war, a battle. Whatever's getting ready to happen, whatever's getting ready to jump off, they don't have enough arsenal to take it down. Okay, I think I might have put it back. They don't have enough arsenal. They don't have enough manpower. They don't have enough souls, money. Time is up. Timeline issues. Now, what's interesting about this calendar is that the date that is showing here, it says January 2021. January 2021. Maybe that's when they started to see that time was literally like running out, running thin around January of 2021. Considering that a lot of people began to awaken around 2020, that full vision started to come into focus around 2020. I just want to see if there's anything else coming out concerning the aliens here. And for those, it's going to be some people that watches this and they're like, what aliens? What do you mean aliens? If you think that you are the only living being in the entire universe, then I don't know what to tell you. You might as well go to sleep and stay asleep, because there's no way. We're talking about an infinite universe. We are only one solar system in a universe of infinite solar systems, infinite planets. So we most certainly are not the only ones here, by no means. Look at this. I'm clarifying the aliens, and it says war soon follows. Something getting ready to break out here. Something is getting ready to break out here, and it's directly connected to otherworldly beings. And I'm getting a strong feeling that they are not on the side of the powers that were. Now, I personally have sent prayers out there before. Okay, I've done a full out ritual where I prayed that if we have galactic friends, if we have galactic brothers and sisters out there who are watching and see the wickedness of this world, that they would come back and fight on our behalf. I have sent that declaration out there. I don't know if y'all have done it, but I damn sure have. Okay. So me personally, I look forward to seeing them, yeah, cosmic family, galactic family, whatever you want to call them. I have definitely sat out at night, looked up into the stars and spoken directly. If y'all are out there and you see what's going on here and you have a concern and you want to actually help us, then yeah, let's get it going. Let's get it and let's go. Okay. This says no resolution. Let me see. No resolution. Bottom of the deck says war among us. It's a couple of cards that's speaking on war here, but this is a different type of war. Now, there is going to be a so-called high-profile leader that's going to spill the tea, okay? Somebody is getting ready to talk. Somebody is getting ready to talk. Let me see, what are they going to say? Let me see. Paris said, I seen on the news about the government talking about otherworldly beings. Finally, they trying to stop covering things up. Okay. I told you they keep having these political conferences about these sightings. And whenever I tune in, they're not really saying much of anything. It's like they won't say it outright. This says communicate in code. So I'm trying to see, what is this leader, the so-called leader, what type of tea are they spilling? What are they telling? Okay, somebody wants to speak up here. They could be trying to, wash their hands clean of all the blood here. They don't want blood on their hands. But it's something about communicating in code. So this so-called leader may say something, but you got to really be listening in order to understand what they're saying. So it seems like they're still afraid to speak directly, or maybe they fear that if they say it directly, that is going to be shut off, that they won't allow it to be put, in the media, obviously, because they control the media. So they probably have to communicate in code, but they're still saying something. What is it that they're saying? So I have two cards, bottom of the deck I'm taking, and this one that flew. It says, unplug your devices, unplug your electronics. And then I have major destruction soon. Hmm. I'm feeling like this could be dealing with the fifth G, right? I can't say it directly, but y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, put 1111 in the comments, because sometimes I say stuff and I mean, I don't, it's not obvious what I'm saying, but some people will be like, what did you, no, no, no. The fifth G, the fifth G. This could be directly connected to that. If y'all know what I'm talking about, put 1111 in the comments, please. Maybe I can find another way to say it directly. Okay, y'all know. Okay. This could be directly correlated to that because it's talking about electronics. Look at that. So we're going back to the pandemic all over again. So it could be directly connected to the fifth G. So there's a so-called leader that's going to want to speak directly about it. Okay. It says our plan is working. So I would strongly suggest that, because electronics is everything right now in the age of Aquarius. Everybody has a phone, everybody has a laptop, everybody has televisions. I feel like this is saying the bare minimum. The bare minimum. Like even if you have to unplug your Wi-Fi box by the end of the night, less exposure is better, because I feel like there's more behind this than what they're saying directly, what they're telling us directly. And there's somebody in a so-called high position in the underworld that wants to speak out directly about it, but they're going to talk in codes. Yeah, you said I have this, I forgot what you call these things, but I purchased it to put on the back of my phone to protect from the the fifth G and things like that. I put it on my Wi-Fi box. I have it on my laptop. This says secret societies destroyed. Okay, so it's over with, y'all. Secret societies are being destroyed, so no more secrets. If there's no more secret societies, then that means that the jig is up. The truth is being revealed. Okay, because that's the only thing that keeps a secret society together is the secrets, the ceremonies, the rituals, and all of these things that's done behind the scenes, the sacrifices, human sacrifices, and you know, the fraud, everything. So with the secret society being destroyed, that means that the secrets are being exposed. So there's a lot happening here. They're trying to, Rosie. That's their objective. They want to, but they ran out of tricks. They don't know what else to do. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely say that the trumpet that just got elected, he may end up being the one that exposes a lot of things, but speaks directly in code because he doesn't really have a filter like that. Okay. Now, considering that everybody that gets into office is a puppet and behind them is somebody just pulling the strings, this much is true. But because we're in the age of Aquarius, it's almost like that muzzle that controlled people from saying particular things has been removed. It's like it's non-existent, okay? Because the veil that was there it's been stripped away. So even though there's a puppet master, it's like they may not have but so much control even over the puppets now. It's almost like those movies where they build the robots, but the robots end up turning on the one that actually created them. Like that that's like a common theme in movies where they have these robots, that's supposed to perform a certain function, and then they end up turning on them. I feel like that's what's happening here. These beings are now clashing against each other. So where they was all in cahoots and they was all on one accord, now there's no more order. Okay. And so where there's no order, there is no new world. Okay. Where there's no order, there is no NWO. So behind the scenes, it's very disruptive. Candace said Pluto is in Aquarius. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rosie said Clash of the Titans. Yeah. It's nothing but clashing that's happening at this point. And so when you have people that used to work together clashing up against one another, it's nothing but chaos and destruction. And so once all of that comes crumbling down, it's nothing left to do but to build up a new empire. But now it's not built on the same energy no more. We ain't building on that energy. This is the time where the chosen seed step forward. We're building in a spiritual realm right now, right? We all have that vision of a world that's at peace, a world where the leadership has integrity, really a world where people know how to self-govern, right? If you don't know how to self-govern, then you don't need to be here. You know, you don't need to be here. What is the point of your existence if you can't control yourself? If integrity is not at the forefront of you as a so-called human being, self-govern. That's really my vision, self-govern. But we got to consider that not everybody has that type of morale. So if we're going to have leaders, then obviously those leaders definitely have to have a spirit. They have to be rooted spiritually. They have to have that divine connection to the Most High Mother and Father. They have to have done a whole lot of work on themselves, because most of the leaders that were so-called leaders that we have in, the powers that were, let's just put it that way, they're all about greed, ego, power tripping, trying to prove a point to themselves that they're not recessive in some way, right? So it goes deep. So that's why they have to get out of the way. They got to get out of the way. And so the new world that's being created is going to come from a totally different angle. So this says here, rituals, it came right back out, rituals performed on a full moon. So y'all just make sure that when these full moons roll around, I know you are already doing it, but just to re-emphasize it, we got to definitely collectively be doing, putting it out there into the atmosphere that all wicked rituals, um, wicked spell work, evil eye, um, whatever type of conjuring up of demons that they're doing, we're countering that by saying that it will not thrive, it will not follow through. As a collective, we have to do that because they're really trying. This goes beyond physical warfare. It's also spiritual warfare. So they're still trying. Okay. But let me just see. I'm going to close out by reading from the 48 Laws of Power. Many of you all know I channel from this book to get, you know, a brief summary of what the powers that were are up to after we do our readings. So let's just see overall, what is their objective? Okay, so I had it on one page, but it turned to another page for me. So it took me to Law 28. It says interaction with boldness. So if you are unsure of a course of action, do not attempt it. Your doubts and hesitations will infect your execution. Timidity is dangerous. Better to enter with boldness. Any mistakes you commit through audacity are easily corrected with more audacity. Everyone admires the bold. No one honors the timid. So it really does re-emphasize that they don't have a plan. It re-emphasizes that they don't have a plan because it specifically said if you are unsure of a course of action, they don't know what to do. Do not attempt it. So now they're sitting back. I think they're watching, just trying to see, okay, what can we do next? I mean, they're confused because if you ain't working together, then you got a whole lot of people going up against each other. It's hard to come up with a plan with people that you are in opposition with now, right? Because everybody is scared that they're going to be the next one that gets exposed or sacrificed. So they really don't have a plan here. Let me turn and see if I can get a little bit more clarity. It's drawing me into the verse that's talking about lions. It says, lions circle the hesitant prey. People have a sixth sense for the weaknesses of others. If in the first encounter you demonstrate your willingness to compromise, back down, and retreat, you bring out the lion even in people who are not necessarily bloodthirsty. So, in other words, you have an innate ability to pick up on someone who's really scared, right? So if you are in a confrontation with somebody and you see their hands shaking, you don't really have to see anything physically. You just kind of have that sixth sense that tells you this person, there's a weakness here. All right. And if you pick up on that thing, it's saying that even the person who's not bloodthirsty, the person who's not necessarily vicious, somehow that viciousness comes out of them. So you bring out the lion even in the people who are not necessarily bloodthirsty. Everything depends on perception. And once you are seen as the kind of person who quickly goes on the defensive, who is willing to negotiate and be amendable, you will be pushed around without mercy. So this is their plan. Consider all of this stuff is coming to a head, right? And you notice how everybody is like, why is it so silent? You can hear crickets. All of this stuff is happening and everybody is quiet. Why are they so quiet? Well, it's because it's saying that this is their strategy to remain silent, because if they come forward, most of humanity who is awakened, who can see things through your spiritual eyes now, you'll be able to watch somebody in an interview and say, oh no, I'm noticing now, I'm picking up something different. So they'd rather stay behind the scenes and not do anything at all so that that sixth sense won't kick in, because the moment that you see them shake, the moment that you see them tremble, the moment that you pick up that they're afraid of what's getting ready to take place, that's when we strike, right? That's when they have no mercy. It's over with because you found their weakness. So this is their objective right now. I feel like they're trying to lay low. That's really what I'm picking up here, because they don't know what to do. So they figure, okay, let's lay low, because otherwise they're going to detect that we truly are afraid. Remember, the card came out earlier. It says they're running for cover. So a lot of people are most definitely running for cover. This is why it's crickets out here. I'll take one more piece from this and then I'm going to close out. So I'm going down to the bottom. My eyes are drawn to, it says hesitation creates gaps, boldness obliterates them. So when you take time to think, to him and ha, you create a gap that allows others time to think as well. Your timidity infects people with an awkward energy, elicits to embarrassment. Doubts spring up on all sides. Well, it's true, right? It's saying when you take time to think, to him and haw. So in other words, you sitting back trying to come up, you trying to conjure up a plan. This is what a lot of them are doing right now. They're silent. They ain't saying nothing. They're trying to come up with a plan. But it's saying that when you leave too much of a gap between whatever has been exposed and you stepping forward to speak your truth, that gives a lot of people time to think. So it's like, if you ain't coming out to let us know what's really going on, we all in our heads coming up with our own scenarios about the truth here. So it's saying boldness destroys gaps. The swiftness of the move and the energy of the action leaves others no space to doubt and worry. So now you want to question those who are taking a different approach. You have those people who are scared and they're like, okay, if I step forward, they're going to sense something here. So they won't say nothing at all. So they're leaving it up to us to think whatever we're going to think. Then you have the other side where they're like, you know what? No, I'm about to jump in. I'm jumping in. I was not at the party past 12 o'clock. What this person is doing is completely outrageous, right? Those who are so quick to speak up, like they quick to come in, their objective is to prevent you from having any thoughts about them. Because a lot of y'all are like, well, hold on, what they was in damn near every picture that I saw with the diddler, or that I saw with Epstein, or that I saw with, whoever these people are, right? So they'll take that approach to come in and say something quick, fast, and in a hurry. While the other ones are like, I just got to hide behind the scenes, but they're leaving too much of a gap. So We got two different approaches here. So you got to watch the ones that's bold and fast to speak. And you got to definitely look out for those who are hiding behind the scenes that ain't saying nothing at all. So let me see. I'm just going to finish this out here. Boldness destroys gaps. The swiftness of the move and the energy of the action leaves others no space to doubt and worry. In seduction, hesitation is fatal. It makes your victim conscious of your intentions. The bold move crowns seduction with triumph. It leaves no time for reflection. So in seduction, hesitation is fatal. So in other words, and this is not literal, right? But it is kind of saying it in a literal sense. If you want to seduce somebody and you hesitant, that could just wipe out the entire mood. So their seduction, when we're talking about the powers that were and all of these beings that's being exposed, the ones that's bold with it, they're like, okay, if these people are going to get into bed with me on this idea that I'm bringing forward, I got to strike fast. I got to be seductive in a way where it is it's pleasing to the ears and pleasing to the eyes. You know, I don't know if that was the wind or what, but it touches the heart some kind of way, right? So they might strike and come in and be, what do you call it? Damn, I can't think of the right word, but it's a soother, like with their tongue, slick talker. So they'll come in and try to get you to get into bed with them by saying, just saying things that's going to work on your heart chakra, or that's going to draw you in and make you love them even more in some way. But they're definitely they're finessing you. That's what it is. That's it, and that's all. They're finessing you. The soothsayer. There you go. The soothsayer. Yeah, they know how to use that silver tongue, right? So thank you for the super chat, Paris. I appreciate you. So that's the objective here. So we have to watch out for both of them, because one of them, they don't want to leave any time for reflection. They don't want you to think on it too hard, so they're going to jump in fast, and the others are just going to be very silent and behind the scenes. But either way, the truth is being brought forward. And if you're using your sixth sense or those spiritual gifts that you have to really tap in, you know exactly what's going on. So that's my message, y'all. I hope that this cleared up some things. We have a lot that came out, but it's still not packaged up perfectly to where we can clearly see exactly what's going on. But as time passes, more and more will be exposed, and we'll have more messages like this where we'll stay ahead of the game, always steps ahead of the enemy at all times. Okay. So thank you for everybody who joined today. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you gained anything from this message, even if it just was entertaining to you. Just shoot me a like and make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications bell, because this is most of the time I will be doing my readings live. So if you want to be able to keep up when I get ready to come on, turn on that notifications bell and you'll be able to keep up with me. All right, y'all. I love you, and I'll talk to y'all next time.